David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. Not too long ago, a series of auditions for Casino Royale became public, and it hit the YouTube airwaves and therefore the public eye. And they're worth talking about. You had people like Rupert Friend on there, mugging for the camera, doing a fine job, doing certain lines from GoldenEye. They actually picked the GoldenEye scene with Onatop to have as the audition piece. Then you also had Sam Worthington doing his best to make it through the auditions. Then you had an interesting choice, Anthony Starr, who is Homelander from The Boys, which again, interesting choice. But then you had another one, which I think is worth talking about, and obviously the subject of this video, Henry Cavill's long-lost James Bond Casino Royale 2005 audition moment. And what you're about to see is the 7-minute long version. I know that there's a couple versions out there that are 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. This is the 7-minute version. And I want to tell you, before you see this, you're going to think that I'm repeating certain parts of the audition. I'm not. The audition has 3 different sort of themes to it, which we'll talk about afterwards. I'm going to give my opinion of the audition. Obviously, I want yours. You're not shy, so you'll give it in the comments. And then we're going to talk about and kind of break it down. And we'll talk about Henry Cavill, not in this form, in future forms, etc. But before we even do that, less than 2 minutes in, you got to watch the audition. It's 7 minutes long, doesn't repeat. It's just different versions of the same scene. Here we go.
I hope your third is where your real talent lies.
1 rises to meet the challenge.
Double.
Sweetie. Cat.
5. 6. Bank loses.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
The very words I live by. So tell me, what are the words you live by?
The trick is to quit while you're ahead.
I never learned that trick. Perhaps you'll show me how it's done. Vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. And you?
The same.
And how do you take it?
Straight up, with a twist. Thank you, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Senior Onatop.
On it?
Onatop.
Your accent, it's Georgian.
Very good, Mr. Bond. You have been to Russia?
Not recently, but I used to drop in occasionally, shoot in and out.
It's very different now. A land of opportunity.
With a Ferrari in every garage.
Not quite. That belongs to a friend.
Tip for your friend. The registration plates for the French new models all begin with letter L. Even the counterfeit ones.
And what rank do you hold with the motor vehicles department, Mr. Bond?
Commander.
Shall we go?
This one is an admiral.
I like one who enjoys pulling rank.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Bond.
Pleasure, I'm sure, was all. Banker. It appears we share the same passions. 3, anyway.
I count 2. Motoring and baccarat.
Oui, pour la banque.
I hope your third is where your real talent lies.
1 rises to meet the challenge.
Double.
Sweetie. Cat.
5. 6. Bank loses.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
The very words I live by. So tell me, what are the words you live by?
The trick is to quit while you're ahead.
I never learned that trick. Perhaps you'll show me how it's done. Vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. And you?
The same.
And how do you take it?
Straight up, with a twist. Thank you, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Senior Onatop.
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 Your accent. Georgian.
Very good, Mr. Bond. You've been to Russia?
Not recently. Used to drop in occasionally. Shoot, in and out.
It's very different now. A land of opportunity.
With a Ferrari in every garage.
Not quite. That belongs to a friend.
Tip for your friend. The French plates this year begin with the letter L. Even the counterfeit ones.
And what rank do you hold with the Motor Vehicles Department, Mr. Bond?
Commander.
Shall we go?
This one is an admiral.
I like women who enjoy pulling rank.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Bond.
The pleasure, I'm sure, was all mine. Banco. It appears we share the same passions. 3, anyway.
I count 2. Motoring and baccarat.
Oui pour la banque.
I hope your third is where your real talent lies.
1 rises to meet the challenge.
Double.
Sweetie. Cat.
5. 6, bank loses.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
The very words I live by. So tell me, what are the words you live by?
The trick is to quit while you're ahead.
I never learned that trick. Perhaps you'll show me how it's done. Vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. And you?
The same.
And how'd you take it?
Straight up. With a twist. Thank you, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Senior on the top.
On a top.
On the top.
Your accent. Georgian?
Very good, Mr. Bond. You've been to Russia?
Not recently. I used to drop in occasionally, shooting out.
Oh, it's very different now. A land of opportunity.
With a Ferrari in every garage.
Not quite. That belongs to a friend.
Tip for your friend. French plates this year start with letter L. Even the counterfeit ones.
And what rank do you hold in the Motor Vehicle Department, Mr. Bond?
Commander.
Shall we go?
This one is an admiral.
I like a woman who enjoys pulling rank.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Bond.
The pleasure, I'm sure, was all mine. Go. It appears we share the same passions. 3, anyway.
I count 2. Motoring and baccarat.
Oui pour la banque.
I hope your third is where your real talent lies.
1 rises to meet the challenge.
Double.
Sweetie. Cat.
5. 6, bank loses.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
The very words I live by. So tell me, what are the words you live by?
The trick is to quit while you're ahead.
Funny, I never learnt that trick. Perhaps you'll show me how it's done. Vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. And you?
The same.
How'd you take it?
Straight up. With a twist. Thank you, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Then you're on the top.
On a top.
On the top.
Your accent. Georgian?
Very good, Mr. Bond. You have been to Russia?
Not recently. I used to drop in occasionally. Shoot in and out.
Yeah, it's very different now. A land of opportunity.
Perhaps with a Ferrari in every garage.
Not quite. That belongs to a friend.
A tip for your friend. The French plates this year all begin with the letter L. Even the counterfeit ones.
And what rank do you hold in the Motor Vehicles Department, Mr. Bond?
Commander.
Shall we go?
This one is an admiral.
I like a woman who enjoys pulling rank.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Bond.
The pleasure, I'm sure, was all mine.
Okay, now, if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know that I've been petitioning for Henry Cavill for years. Few reasons. I'll admit, a lot of it is his look. I like his look. He looks like he can make women swoon and men want to be him. He's got the physicality. We've seen him do action roles and he does them in a very comprehensive and good form. Absolutely, without question. But I like his subtleties too. I mean, some people say it's his acting. I like his persona, his acting. And of course, I'm just going to put it out there because this is a Bond fan channel. I like his attitude towards the fans. He's talked a lot about that he doesn't believe in fan toxicity, he believes in fan passion. And that what some people within the industry might see as toxicity, he doesn't want to quell the passion of fans because that's the bread and butter. That's what makes butts in seats show up in the cinemas time and time again. So I love that he's an advocate for the fan. All these reasons, and probably many more, I've loved Henry Cavill as a potential for Bond. But now we have to talk about this audition because I've seen it, I don't know how many times since it came out. It was sent to me. There are so many stories around how this audition video even was found. My favorite, which I'll share with you, is that it was a videotape. It was a VHS tape found in a garbage bin. A garbage bin. By the way, if that's true, that's bonkers, but a little skeptical of that one. But I love it because it's, bombastic and it's, fantastical, of course. But I've seen it so many times. I saw the other ones as well. There are a lot of people who are watching this who are saying, oh my gosh, thank goodness he didn't become Bond because he is so wooden. I will say, let me break this down. The audition, broken down into 3 different versions, has a very sort of plain, assassin-like, I'll say it, maybe even wooden type of approach. I think he was told to act that way because when you get to the 3rd version, the 3rd in the last couple minutes of the 7-minute audition, it's a little bit more lively. There's more personality to it. There's a little bit of the eyebrows, the Roger Moore eyebrows going on. A little bit more of the Henry Cavill personality that we know today. A little bit more, not a ton. I will start off by saying, because I want to give my opinion on this, Eon, Barbara Broccoli, and Michael G. Wilson, and all the powers that be, and the casting folks, they got the right guy. Daniel Craig was the right guy. If I see Daniel Craig's audition, and I see what his performance was in the films that we have in the Daniel Craig era, I'd say we have the right guy in all these films. I'm not looking at this audition with Henry Cavill going, oh my gosh, missed opportunity. He's so good. He's so good in that audition. No, I'm not. I do believe they have and had the right guy. I mean, I wouldn't replace Daniel Craig with Henry Cavill. I just wouldn't. That's my opinion. Is he the Henry Cavill that we know today? Well, that's something else I want to cover because I don't believe so. I am still here in 2025, February, laying down in the sand a line saying that Henry Cavill would still be a phenomenal James Bond today. I think the guy's in his very, very, very early 40s, but doesn't look it. He looks like he could be 35, 36. It's not like, when James Bond appears in the cinema, on screen, they go, hey, he's 41. They don't do that. So, the people can play younger if they look younger. And his physicality, his skin tone, everything, he just looks younger. Some people do. Some people do not look their age. He is one of those individuals. So he could play Bond today. The other thing for those out there saying that, oh, he's so wooden, he's wooden, that is a blanket statement. I know from personal experience that my personality today is not the personality I had when I was 30 years old or 28 years old, not even close. Through institutional knowledge and experience and something called, life, you gather and gain all these different personality skills and moments. And that's what I believe Henry Cavill has today in 2025. If he was to audition for James Bond today or play Bond in a film, you would see a very different Henry Cavill than the one we saw in the audition that was a little bit more stead and a little bit more serious. You would see the one that you see in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and the Mission Impossible films and all the other films that Henry Cavill has been in, where he can go up and down in his personality. The other thing that I want to mention, because again, I'm hitting the this is a wooden audition family of individuals. Not that I'm, berating you. That's your opinion and you're welcome to it. Everybody has one. Bond. Let's talk about Bond as the character. And Roger Moore said this beautifully. The actors that play Bond are portraying a character. They're portraying a character first and foremost, written by Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming's character has some emotional moments, but he is a steely character. He is a serious persona and a serious character. Why? I don't know. Maybe there's murder for breakfast. Maybe because he's spy/assassin. Maybe because he has to build relationships and end relationships, sometimes very significantly and robustly through killing them. So this is a very serious character. It's not a clown. Well, it was an octopus, but I mean, it's mostly not a clown. So the portrayal that we see Henry Cavill, if I think about and almost forecast his approach in this audition, he wanted to be James Bond, that steely character. And mind you, you're coming off of Pierce Brosnan. So think about his filtration as an actor. He's going in to do this audition, clearly from GoldenEye. Campbell was probably even in the room, so that's his film. And Henry Cavill's latest Bond that he knows at the time, in 2005, is Pierce Brosnan. Now, we know he wasn't going to come back, but that's in the foremost of his mind. So he could mug and he could replicate and he could mine a bird, Pierce Brosnan, or he could bring it back to a little bit more seriousness. I like the third portion of his audition so much better. I would have dialed it up to 3. I don't think it was a perfect audition. I haven't seen like the action orientation part of his audition. I'm sure there was that and maybe even other scenes. But if I just take it on this audition, if I was the casting director and I received this VHS in the mail of all these people, I wouldn't look at Henry Cavill and go, oh, there's our Bond. You know, again, visual, etc. But I do think he needed to dial it up because what Daniel Craig brought to it was some incredible acting moments that had peaks and valleys along the way. Even when he was being serious and steely, there were these little, I call them like Steve McQueen twitch moments, these little things with the eyes, these little things with the jawline, you know, the imperceptible sometimes moments that an actor gives to you that we're subconsciously picking up that rounds out and gives dimensionality to the performance and the character. I was missing that in Cavill's audition. So I would give it a middle grade, but I wouldn't say that he blew the roof off. You know, I think Daniel Craig blew the roof off, obviously, and that's why we have the movies. But I'm here to tell you, I got real excited seeing this again because I knew more people would be talking about this. And I waited to release this video until we had a certain circumference of the Bond community talking about Henry Cavill again, because I don't want to be that guy that always brings up, you know, a movie like that not everybody likes, like, I don't know, Quantum of Solace. And I don't want to be that guy that always brings up Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill, who do you like for Bond? Henry Cavill. But I've become that guy. And now it's nice to see that the rest of the world at least is talking about this. Maybe not in the most complimentary form, but at least talking about it. So I had to share that opinion. The Henry Cavill we have today in 2025 with his new personality, acting chops, maturity, because I think as Bond actors mature, they bring a dimensionality and acting prowess. I said prowess, not well, but I said it, to the table. I think Henry Cavill could bring it. So Henry Cavill back on. Where's my Henry Cavill flag? I have no I need a Henry Cavill flag. No, I have one from Sienna, but not Henry Cavill. Anyway, I want your opinion. You've watched the audition tape. What do you think of his audition? But also, what do you think of having Henry Cavill as our Bond today? I know it would be a commercial success. A lot of people like him, want him. I mean, how much brouhaha was there when he wasn't our Superman again? So having him as Bond is a bit of a Band-Aid for us. It's very commercial, but any time and anything will tell. In the meantime, today, I'm going to relish the moment of everybody talking about Henry Cavill. Good and bad. No news is good news, bad news. News is news. In the meantime, this has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. We'll see you real soon. Take care. Thanks for watching the Bond Experience. If you like what you saw, why don't you subscribe to the channel by clicking this button right here. We'll keep you up on everything new that's happening in the world of Bond. And speaking of something new, here's something new just for you because we know you so well. Talk to you soon.